Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science channel. Tonight we'll be exploring inward into the remarkable and intricate world of the human body. A place filled with rhythm, with wonder, and endless complexity. Within us are systems working silently, cells dividing and renewing, and processes we never consciously notice. Your heart beats without instruction. Your lungs breathe while you dream. A symphony of biological marvels operates every moment, sustaining the miracle of your existence. The human body is both ordinary and extraordinary, something we inhabit every day, yet never fully comprehend. If you enjoy these quiet explorations, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a simple thought down in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the calm rhythm of your own body to carry you. Let's begin. Your heart beats over 100,000 times each day. Every moment of your life, your heart works tirelessly. This fist-sized muscle in your chest contracts and relaxes in a steady rhythm, pumping blood through your body without you ever having to think about it. Over the course of a single day, your heart beats approximately 100,000 times. That's more than 35 million beats in a year, and over 2.5 billion in an average lifetime. With each beat, your heart pushes oxygen-rich blood through a vast network of vessels, delivering nutrients and removing waste from every cell. It works while you sleep, while you eat, while you laugh and cry. It began beating before you were born, in the quiet darkness of the womb, and it will continue its faithful rhythm until your final moment. Your heart knows its purpose and performs it with unwavering dedication, a tireless companion that asks nothing in return. Blood travels nearly 12,000 miles through your body daily. The blood flowing through your veins is constantly on a journey. Your circulatory system is an intricate highway of arteries, veins, and capillaries that, if laid end to end, would stretch approximately 60,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than twice. Every day, your blood makes countless trips through this vast network, traveling nearly 12,000 miles as it delivers oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your body. This journey takes only about 60 seconds to complete one full circuit. From your heart, blood rushes through your arteries, branches into smaller vessels, and finally reaches the tiniest capillaries where oxygen and nutrients are exchanged. Then it returns through your veins, carrying carbon dioxide and waste back to be filtered and renewed. This continuous circulation happens without pause, a silent journey that sustains your life moment by moment. Your lungs process over 11,000 liters of air. Each day breathing is so automatic that you rarely notice it, yet your lungs work continuously to keep you alive. With each breath, air flows into your lungs, where oxygen is extracted and carbon dioxide is expelled. Over the course of a day, you take approximately 20,000 breaths, processing more than 11,000 liters of air. Inside your lungs are approximately 300 million tiny air sacs called alveoli. These delicate structures provide a surface area roughly the size of a tennis court, allowing for efficient gas exchange. When you breathe in, oxygen passes through the thin walls of the alveoli into your bloodstream. When you breathe out, carbon dioxide makes the reverse journey. This exchange happens automatically, regulated by your brainstem, ensuring that your cells receive the oxygen they need while waste gases are removed. Your lungs are quiet guardians, working tirelessly from your first breath to your last. Your brain contains about 86 billion neurons. The most complex organ in your body sits quietly inside your skull. Your brain, weighing only about 3 pounds, contains approximately 86 billion neurons. These specialized cells communicate through electrical and chemical signals, forming networks that enable every thought, memory, emotion, and action. Each neuron can connect with thousands of others, creating trillions of possible pathways. Your brain is the command center of your body, processing sensory information, coordinating movement, regulating vital functions, and generating consciousness itself. It works constantly, even during sleep, consolidating memories, processing emotions, and maintaining essential functions. The electrical activity in your brain generates enough power to light a small bulb. Every moment of awareness, every dream, every decision you make emerges from this remarkable organ. It is the seat of your identity, the source of your thoughts, and the keeper of your memories. Neurons can transmit signals at over 250 miles per hour. Communication within your nervous system happens at astonishing speeds. When you touch something hot, sensory neurons instantly send signals to your spinal cord and brain, which process the information and send commands back to your muscles to pull away. This entire process occurs in a fraction of a second, because neurons can transmit signals at speeds exceeding 250 miles per hour. These electrical impulses travel along the length of neurons through a process involving charged particles called ions. When a signal reaches the end of one neuron, chemical messengers called neurotransmitters carry the message across the tiny gap to the next neuron. This intricate system allows for rapid communication throughout your body, coordinating everything from reflexes to complex thoughts. The speed and efficiency of neural transmission is what allows you to react quickly, think clearly, and coordinate the countless processes that keep you alive. Your skin completely renews itself every 28 days. The skin you see today is not the same skin you had a month ago. Your skin is constantly renewing itself, shedding dead cells and generating new ones in a continuous cycle. Approximately every 28 days, you have a completely new outer layer of skin. This process happens so gradually that you never notice it, but you shed millions of dead skin cells every day. Your skin is your body's largest organ, covering approximately 20 square feet in adults and weighing about 8 pounds. It serves as a protective barrier against the outside world, defending you from pathogens, regulating temperature, and providing sensory information about your environment. Beneath the visible surface, specialized cells work tirelessly to produce new skin cells that migrate upward, gradually replacing older cells that eventually flake away. This constant renewal keeps your skin healthy and functional throughout your life. Dead skin cells make up most of household dust. Much of the dust that settles in your home comes from your own body. Dead skin cells that you shed continuously become a significant component of household dust. You lose approximately 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute, adding up to nearly 9 pounds of dead skin per year. These cells mix with fibers from clothing, hair, pollen, and other particles to form the dust you see accumulating on surfaces. This constant shedding is a natural and healthy process. As new skin cells form in the deeper layers of your skin, older cells are pushed toward the surface, where they eventually die and are shed. This renewal process keeps your skin fresh and helps protect you from damage. The dead cells that become dust are simply the evidence of your body's continuous regeneration, a quiet reminder of the constant renewal happening within you. Your stomach produces a new layer of mucus every 2 weeks. The inside of your stomach is a harsh environment. The gastric acid produced there is strong enough to dissolve metal, with a pH between 1.5 and 3.5. To protect itself from this corrosive acid, your stomach lining produces a thick layer of mucus that acts as a barrier. This protective coating is important that your stomach completely renews it approximately every 2 weeks. The cells lining your stomach work continuously to produce this mucus, which coats the stomach walls and prevents the acid from digesting the stomach itself. This delicate balance is maintained through sophisticated biological mechanisms. When this protective layer is compromised, ulcers can form, demonstrating just how powerful your stomach acid truly is. The fact that your stomach can safely contain such a corrosive substance while using it to break down food is a testament to the remarkable engineering of your digestive system. Your digestive system is about 30 feet long. The journey your food takes through your body is longer than you might imagine. From your mouth to the end of your large intestine, your digestive tract measures approximately 30 feet in length when fully extended. This long, winding path allows your body ample time and surface area to extract every possible nutrient from the food you eat. The process begins in your mouth, where enzymes in saliva start breaking down carbohydrates. Food then travels down your esophagus to your stomach, where acid and enzymes further break it down. From there, it moves into your small intestine, a coiled tube about 20 feet long where most nutrient absorption occurs. Finally, it passes through your large intestine, about 5 feet long, where water is absorbed and waste is formed. This entire journey can take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, depending on what you've eaten. Your digestive system works tirelessly, extracting nutrients and energy to fuel every cell in your body. You produce about 1 liter of saliva daily. Saliva is one of your body's unsung heroes. Your salivary glands produce approximately 1 liter of saliva every day, though you rarely notice it. This clear fluid serves multiple important functions. It moistens food, making it easier to chew and swallow. It contains enzymes that begin the process of breaking down starches even before food reaches your stomach. It helps maintain the health of your teeth by washing away food particles and neutralizing acids that can cause decay. Saliva also plays a role in taste. The moisture allows taste molecules to dissolve and reach your taste buds more effectively. Without adequate saliva, eating would be difficult and uncomfortable. The continuous production and swallowing of saliva happens automatically, another background process your body manages without conscious effort. Your salivary glands work day and night, ensuring your mouth remains moist and functional. Your liver performs over 500 different functions. Tucked beneath your rib cage on the right side of your abdomen sits one of your body's most versatile organs. Your liver weighs about 3 pounds and performs more than 500 different functions essential to life. It processes nutrients absorbed from your digestive system, converts them into forms your body can use, and stores vitamins and minerals for future needs. Your liver also acts as your body's primary detoxification center, filtering harmful substances from your blood. It produces bile, which helps digest fats. It regulates blood sugar levels, stores energy, and manufactures proteins necessary for blood clotting. Your liver can even regenerate itself. If a portion is damaged or removed, it can grow back to its original size, a remarkable ability unique among your internal organs. This hard-working organ operates continuously, processing chemicals, filtering toxins, and supporting countless bodily functions with quiet efficiency. The liver is the only organ that can fully regenerate. Among all your organs, your liver possesses a unique superpower: complete regeneration. If up to 75% of your liver is removed or damaged, it can grow back to its full size within a few months. This remarkable ability has been known since ancient times and is referenced in the Greek myth of Prometheus, whose liver was eaten daily by an eagle, only to regenerate each night. This regenerative capacity exists because liver cells, called hepatocytes, can re-enter the cell cycle and multiply when needed. After injury or surgical removal, the remaining liver tissue receives signals that trigger rapid cell division. The liver grows back, not through the regeneration of lost tissue, but through the enlargement of remaining tissue until the organ reaches its original mass. This extraordinary ability ensures that even severe liver damage can potentially be overcome, and it makes liver transplants possible, where a portion of a living donor's liver can be transplanted while both the donor's remaining liver and the recipient's new liver portion grow to full size. Your kidneys filter about 50 gallons of blood daily. Your 2 kidneys, each about the size of a fist, work tirelessly to clean your blood. Together, they filter approximately 50 gallons of blood every single day, removing waste products and excess water to produce urine. This continuous filtration is essential for maintaining the proper balance of water, salts, and minerals in your body. Each kidney contains about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. As blood flows through these nephrons, waste products and excess substances are filtered out, while essential nutrients and most of the water are reabsorbed back into your bloodstream. The waste products and excess water become urine, which travels from your kidneys through tubes called ureters to your bladder for storage until you're ready to eliminate it. Your kidneys do more than just filter waste. They also produce hormones that regulate blood pressure, stimulate red blood cell production, and help maintain bone health. They work constantly, adjusting their function based on your body's needs, ensuring that your internal environment remains stable despite changes in diet, hydration, and activity level. Your body contains enough iron to make a small nail. Hidden within your blood is a metal essential to life. Your body contains approximately 3 to 4 grams of iron, enough to make a small nail about 3 inches long. Most of this iron is found in hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout your body. The iron atoms in hemoglobin bind to oxygen molecules in your lungs and release them in your tissues where they're needed. This is why iron deficiency causes fatigue. Without adequate iron, your body cannot produce enough functional hemoglobin, and your cells don't receive sufficient oxygen. The red color of your blood comes from this iron-containing hemoglobin. When oxygen binds to the iron, blood appears bright red. When oxygen is released, blood takes on a darker, bluish-red color, which is why veins visible beneath your skin often appear blue. Your body carefully regulates iron levels, recycling most of the iron from old red blood cells when they're broken down and reusing it to make new ones. This efficient recycling system means you only need to obtain small amounts of iron from your diet to maintain healthy levels. The iron in your blood is literally the element that keeps you alive, carrying the breath of life to every cell. Red blood cells live for about 120 days. The red blood cells flowing through your veins right now have a limited lifespan. Each red blood cell lives for approximately 120 days, or about 4 months, before it becomes old and worn out. During that time, each cell makes hundreds of thousands of trips through your circulatory system, repeatedly picking up oxygen in your lungs and delivering it to tissues throughout your body. Your body produces approximately 2 million new red blood cells every second to replace those that are dying. This constant production takes place in your bone marrow, the soft tissue inside your bones. When red blood cells reach the end of their lifespan, they're removed from circulation by your spleen and liver, which break them down and recycle their components, including the valuable iron they contain. This continuous cycle of birth, service, and death happens automatically, maintaining a constant supply of fresh, functional red blood cells. At any given moment, you have approximately 25 trillion red blood cells in your body, all working together to keep you alive. The ones circulating in your blood today will be gone in 4 months, replaced by entirely new cells, Yet the process is so seamless you never notice the change. White blood cells protect you from billions of germs daily. Your body is constantly under siege from microscopic invaders, yet you remain healthy because of your immune system's vigilant defenders, white blood cells. Every day, you encounter billions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other pathogens. Your white blood cells patrol your body continuously, identifying and destroying these threats before they can cause illness. Unlike red blood cells, which are all essentially identical, white blood cells come in several different types, each with specialized functions. Some engulf and digest foreign particles. Others produce antibodies that mark invaders for destruction. Some coordinate immune responses, while others directly attack infected cells. This diverse army works together to protect you from constant microbial threats. Your body can produce more white blood cells rapidly when facing an infection, which is why your white blood cell count increases when you're sick. These cells have the remarkable ability to squeeze through blood vessel walls and travel to sites of infection, inflammation, or injury. They sacrifice themselves by the millions to protect you, dying in the battle against infection and forming the pus that sometimes results. Your white blood cells are tireless guardians, working every moment to keep you safe from the invisible world of germs. Your immune system remembers every pathogen it encounters. One of your immune system's most remarkable abilities is memory. Once your body has encountered a specific pathogen, specialized white blood cells called memory cells store information about it. If you're ever exposed to that same pathogen again, these memory cells recognize it immediately and mount a rapid, powerful response that often destroys the invader before it can make you sick. This is the principle behind vaccination. Vaccines introduce your immune system to weakened or inactive versions of pathogens, allowing your body to develop memory cells without experiencing the full disease. When the real pathogen appears later, your immune system is ready with a swift and effective defense. Some immunological memories last a lifetime. You typically only get diseases like measles or chickenpox once because your immune system never forgets them. Other memories fade over time, which is why you need booster shots for certain vaccines or can catch colds repeatedly. Your immune system maintains a vast library of remembered threats, accumulated throughout your life, constantly updating and refining its defenses. Every infection you've survived has made your immune system smarter and more prepared for future challenges. Bones are stronger than steel by weight. Your bones might seem static and unchanging, but they're living tissues that are remarkably strong. Pound for pound, bone is stronger than steel. A cubic inch of bone can withstand loads of up to 19,000 pounds, which is roughly the weight of 5 pickup trucks. This incredible strength comes from bone's composite structure, which combines a hard mineral matrix of calcium and phosphate with flexible protein fibers, primarily collagen. This combination gives bone both strength and flexibility. The mineral component provides hardness and compressive strength, while the collagen fibers provide tensile strength and the ability to bend slightly without breaking. This is why healthy bones can withstand tremendous forces during everyday activities like running, jumping, and lifting without fracturing. Despite their strength, bones are also lightweight, thanks to their internal structure. Many bones are hollow or filled with a spongy network of struts and plates that provide maximum strength with minimum weight. This engineering allows your skeleton to support your body and protect your internal organs while remaining light enough for efficient movement. Your bones are architectural marvels, combining strength, flexibility, and lightness in a living tissue that continuously renews itself throughout your life. Your skeleton completely replaces itself every 10 years. Your bones may seem permanent, but they're constantly being remodeled. Old bone tissue is continuously broken down by cells called osteoclasts, while new bone tissue is built by cells called osteoblasts. Through this process of resorption and formation, your entire skeleton replaces itself approximately every 10 years. This constant remodeling serves several purposes. It repairs microscopic damage that occurs during daily activities, preventing the accumulation of damage that could lead to fractures. It allows bones to adapt to changing stresses and loads, becoming stronger in areas subjected to repeated force. It also helps regulate calcium levels in your blood. When your blood calcium is low, osteoclasts break down bone to release stored calcium. When calcium is abundant, osteoblasts incorporate it into new bone tissue. This means the skeleton you have today is not the same one you had a decade ago. Every bone in your body has been rebuilt, cell by cell, maintaining its shape and structure while completely renewing itself. This ongoing process requires adequate nutrition, particularly calcium and vitamin D, and is influenced by factors like exercise and hormones. Your skeleton is not a static frame, but a dynamic, living system in constant renewal. You have the same number of neck bones as a giraffe. Despite the obvious difference in neck length, humans and giraffes have the same number of cervical vertebrae. 7. In fact, nearly all mammals, from tiny mice to enormous whales, have exactly 7 bones in their necks. The length of the neck doesn't depend on the number of bones, but rather on the size of each individual vertebra. In a giraffe, each cervical vertebra can be over 10 inches long, creating that characteristic long neck. In humans, the cervical vertebrae are much smaller, typically just over an inch tall. This consistent number across species reflects our shared evolutionary history. Mutations that change the number of cervical vertebrae are rare and often associated with health problems, which is why the 7 vertebrae pattern is so strongly conserved. Your 7 cervical vertebrae are remarkably flexible, allowing you to turn your head, tilt it side to side, and nod up and down. They support the weight of your head, which weighs about 10 to 11 pounds, while also protecting your spinal cord as it passes through the vertebral canal. These bones provide both strength and flexibility, enabling the wide range of head movements you perform constantly throughout your day. Your spinal cord contains about 13.5 million neurons. Running through the protective channel formed by your vertebrae is your spinal cord, a crucial highway of neural communication. This thick bundle of nerve tissue contains approximately 13.5 million neurons and extends from your brainstem down to your lower back. It serves as the main pathway for signals traveling between your brain and the rest of your body. Your spinal cord does more than simply relay messages. It also processes certain types of information and controls reflexes without requiring input from your brain. When you touch something hot and jerk your hand away before you've even consciously registered the pain, that's your spinal cord coordinating a protective reflex. This ability to respond immediately to danger without waiting for brain input can prevent serious injuries. The spinal cord is carefully protected by the bony vertebrae surrounding it, by membranes called meninges, and by cerebrospinal fluid that cushions it against impacts. Despite these protections, spinal cord injuries are serious because neurons in the spinal cord, unlike other cells in your body, cannot regenerate effectively. The spinal cord you have now is essentially the same one you were born with, diligently transmitting signals and coordinating responses throughout your entire life. Muscles make up about 40% of your body weight. Movement is fundamental to human life, and your muscles make it possible. In an average adult, skeletal muscles account for approximately 40% of total body weight. Your body contains more than 600 named skeletal muscles, from the tiny stapedius muscle in your ear, which is only about 1 millimeter long, to the large gluteus maximus muscle in your buttocks. Muscles generate force through a process of contraction. Individual muscle fibers contain proteins that slide past each other, shortening the fiber and producing tension. When many fibers contract simultaneously, coordinated by signals from motor neurons, the entire muscle contracts, pulling on bones and tendons to create movement. Your muscles aren't just for movement. They also generate heat, which helps maintain your body temperature. When you shiver, your muscles are contracting rapidly to produce warmth. Muscles also serve as a reservoir for amino acids and play a role in regulating your metabolism. They require constant energy, which is why people with more muscle mass burn more calories, even at rest. Your muscles are dynamic tissues that adapt to how you use them, growing stronger with resistance training and more efficient with endurance activities. Your strongest muscle might be your jaw. Determining your body's strongest muscle depends on how you define strength, but by several measures, the masseter muscle in your jaw ranks among the most powerful. This muscle, which closes your jaw when you bite, can exert a force of up to 200 pounds on your molars. That's enough force to crack open nuts or bite through tough materials. The masseter isn't particularly large, but it has excellent leverage and a high density of muscle fibers. When you chew, you're using one of the most powerful mechanical systems in your body. Your jaw muscles work constantly throughout the day, whenever you eat, speak, or even clench your teeth unconsciously. Other candidates for strongest muscle include the gluteus maximus, which is the largest muscle and generates the power for activities like climbing stairs and standing from a seated position. The heart might also be considered the strongest, since it contracts tirelessly throughout your entire life. The soleus muscle in your calf is remarkably strong in terms of the force it can exert relative to its size. Strength can be measured in different ways, but whichever muscle claims the title, they all work together to make movement possible. Your tongue is actually 8 separate muscles. Your tongue is far more complex than it appears. What seems like a single organ is actually composed of 8 separate muscles working in coordination. 4 intrinsic muscles, which are entirely contained within the tongue, control its shape, allowing it to flatten, curl, and change contour. 4 extrinsic muscles, which attach the tongue to surrounding structures, control its position, allowing it to move in and out, up and down, and side to side. This complex muscular structure gives your tongue remarkable flexibility and precision. You use it constantly for speaking, articulating specific sounds by positioning it precisely in your mouth. You use it for eating, manipulating food, pushing it between your teeth for chewing, and forming it into a ball to swallow. You use it to taste, as your tongue is covered with about 10,000 taste buds that detect sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami flavors. Your tongue is also one of the strongest muscles in your body relative to its size, capable of exerting significant force. It never gets tired the way your arm or leg muscles do, because it's constantly supplied with oxygen-rich blood and is designed for continuous use. The coordination required to control 8 different muscles simultaneously is handled automatically by your brain, allowing you to speak and eat without thinking about the complex movements involved. You have about 10,000 taste buds. Your sense of taste might seem simple, but it's more sophisticated than you realize. Your tongue, soft palate, and throat are covered with approximately 10,000 taste buds, each containing 50 to 100 specialized sensory cells. These cells detect chemical molecules in your food and convert them into signals your brain interprets as taste. Traditionally, we recognized 4 basic tastes: sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. Scientists have now confirmed a 5th taste called umami, a savory flavor associated with amino acids and proteins. Each taste serves an evolutionary purpose. Sweetness indicates energy-rich carbohydrates. Saltiness helps regulate mineral balance. Sourness can signal unripe fruit or spoilage. Bitterness often warns of potentially toxic substances. Umami points to protein-rich foods. Your taste buds are not evenly distributed. Different areas of your tongue are slightly more sensitive to certain tastes, though the old tongue map showing distinct regions for each taste is oversimplified. Taste buds are also found beyond your tongue, on your soft palate and in your throat. These tiny sensors constantly renew themselves, with each taste bud cell living only about 10 to 14 days before being replaced. Despite their short lifespans, they provide you with one of life's great pleasures, the ability to savor your food. Your sense of smell can distinguish about 1 trillion scents. Your sense of smell is remarkably powerful. Scientists once thought humans could distinguish about 10,000 different odors, but recent research suggests the actual number is closer to 1 trillion. This extraordinary sensitivity allows you to detect and identify an almost infinite variety of scents, from the aroma of coffee to the smell of rain. Smell works through olfactory receptors in your nasal cavity. When you breathe in, airborne molecules enter your nose and bind to these receptors, which send signals to your olfactory bulb at the base of your brain. From there, signals travel to multiple brain regions, including areas involved in emotion and memory. This direct connection to emotional centers explains why smells can trigger powerful memories and feelings. Your sense of smell is linked closely to taste. Much of what you perceive as flavor actually comes from smell. When you have a stuffy nose, food tastes bland because aromatic molecules can't reach your olfactory receptors. Your brain combines taste information from your tongue with smell information from your nose to create the full experience of flavor. Smell also serves protective functions, alerting you to dangers like smoke, gas leaks, or spoiled food. You shed about 50 to 100 hairs daily. Hair growth is a continuous cycle, and losing hair is a normal part of that process. On average, you shed between 50 and 100 hairs from your scalp each day. This might sound alarming, but it's completely normal when you consider that your scalp contains approximately 100,000 hair follicles, each following its own cycle of growth, rest, and shedding. Each hair follicle operates independently, cycling through 3 phases. During the growth phase, which lasts 2 to 7 years, hair grows about 6 inches per year. The hair then enters a brief transitional phase, lasting a few weeks, followed by a resting phase of about 3 months. At the end of the resting phase, the hair falls out, and the follicle begins growing a new hair. At any given time, about 90% of your hair follicles are in the growth phase, while 10% are resting. Hair serves multiple functions beyond appearance. It provides insulation, helps regulate body temperature, protects your scalp from sun damage, and keeps debris out of your eyes and nose. The hair you see is actually dead tissue made of a protein called keratin. Only the root beneath your skin is alive and growing. The color, texture, and growth rate of your hair are determined by genetics, though they can be influenced by factors like nutrition, hormones, and age. Fingernails grow about 3.5 millimeters per month. Your fingernails grow continuously throughout your life, though you rarely notice the gradual change. On average, fingernails grow about 3.5 millimeters per month, or roughly 1/10 of a millimeter per day. Interestingly, your fingernails grow faster than your toenails, which grow at about half that rate. Your nails also grow faster during summer than winter, and faster on your dominant hand. Nails are made of keratin, the same protein that forms your hair and the outer layer of your skin. They grow from a matrix of cells beneath the cuticle at the base of your nail. As new cells form, they push older cells forward, and these cells harden into the nail plate you can see. The white semicircle at the base of your nail, called the lunula, is the visible part of the matrix. Your nails serve several purposes. They protect the sensitive tips of your fingers and toes, help you pick up small objects, and enhance your sense of touch by providing a firm backing against the fingertip. The appearance of your nails can also indicate your overall health. Changes in nail color, texture, or growth rate can sometimes signal nutritional deficiencies or medical conditions. The nails you have today will be completely replaced by new growth in about 6 months. Your eyes can distinguish about 10 million different colors. Your vision is one of your most complex senses, and your eyes are capable of distinguishing approximately 10 million different colors. This remarkable ability comes from specialized cells in your retina called cones. Most people have 3 types of cones, each sensitive to different wavelengths of light: short, blue, medium, green, and long, red. Your brain combines signals from these 3 cone types to create your perception of color. Light enters your eye through the clear cornea, passes through the pupil, the opening in your iris, and is focused by the lens onto the retina at the back of your eye. The retina contains about 120 million rod cells, which detect light and dark, and are responsible for night vision, and about 6 million cone cells, which detect color and fine detail. The image projected onto your retina is actually upside down, but your brain automatically flips it right side up. Your eyes also see in 2 dimensions, but your brain combines the slightly different views from each eye to create depth perception. Your eyes move constantly, making tiny adjustments called saccades several times per second, though your brain edits these movements out of your conscious perception, creating the illusion of stable vision. You blink about 15 to 20 times per minute. Blinking is one of those automatic processes you rarely notice, yet your eyelids close and reopen approximately 15 to 20 times every minute. That adds up to more than 28,000 blinks in a single day. Each blink lasts about 1/10 of a second, meaning you spend roughly 10% of your waking hours with your eyes closed, yet you're never aware of the darkness. Blinking serves several crucial functions. It spreads tears evenly across the surface of your eyes, keeping them moist and washing away debris. The tear film consists of 3 layers: an outer oily layer that prevents evaporation, a middle watery layer that provides moisture and nutrients, and an inner mucus layer that helps tears adhere to your eye's surface. Without regular blinking, your eyes would dry out and become irritated. Your blink rate varies depending on what you're doing. When you're reading or staring at a screen, you blink less frequently, sometimes as little as 3 to 8 times per minute. This reduced blink rate is one reason prolonged screen time can cause dry, tired eyes. Conversely, when you're talking or thinking actively, your blink rate increases. Some blinks are reflexive, triggered by foreign objects or bright lights, while others are spontaneous, maintaining eye health automatically. Tears have 3 distinct layers. The tears in your eyes are more complex than simple salty water. Each tear consists of 3 distinct layers, each with its own purpose. The innermost layer, directly against your eye's surface, is a thin coating of mucus produced by goblet cells in your conjunctiva. This layer helps tears stick to your eye and ensures even coverage. The middle layer is the aqueous layer, which makes up about 90% of tear volume. This watery layer, produced by your lacrimal glands, contains water, salts, and proteins, including antibodies that help fight infection. It provides moisture, delivers oxygen and nutrients to your cornea, and washes away debris and foreign particles. The outermost layer is a thin film of lipids or oils produced by meibomian glands in your eyelids. This oily layer prevents the tears beneath it from evaporating too quickly and helps maintain a smooth optical surface. When any of these three layers is deficient, you can develop dry eye syndrome, causing discomfort and vision problems. The sophisticated structure of your tears demonstrates how even seemingly simple body fluids are actually carefully engineered systems. Your ears continue working while you sleep. Unlike your eyes, which close during sleep, your ears never stop receiving sound. Even while you're deeply asleep, your ears continue to gather sound waves and convert them into neural signals that your brain receives. The difference is that your sleeping brain filters out most sounds, preventing them from waking you unless they're particularly loud, unusual, or personally significant. Sound waves enter your ear canal and vibrate your eardrum. These vibrations are transmitted through three tiny bones in your middle ear, the malleus, incus, and stapes, which amplify the sound. The stapes, the smallest bone in your body, is only about 3 millimeters long, transmits vibrations to the fluid-filled cochlea in your inner ear. Inside the cochlea, thousands of tiny hair cells convert mechanical vibrations into electrical signals that travel along your auditory nerve to your brain. This process happens continuously, even during sleep. Your brain decides which sounds to bring to your attention. A mother might sleep through traffic noise, but wake instantly to her baby's cry. Your name spoken softly might rouse you when other words wouldn't. This selective attention protects your rest while keeping you alert to potential dangers. The smallest bones in your body are in your ear. Deep within your middle ear lie the three smallest bones in the human body, collectively called the ossicles. The malleus, incus, and stapes are so tiny they could all fit together on a penny. The stapes, also called the stirrup because of its shape, is the smallest of all, measuring only about 2.5 to 3 millimeters in length and weighing just 2 to 3 milligrams. Despite their diminutive size, these bones play a crucial role in hearing. They form a chain that transmits sound vibrations from your eardrum to your inner ear, amplifying the sound by about 20 times in the process. This amplification is necessary because sound must transition from traveling through air in your outer ear to traveling through fluid in your inner ear, and without amplification, much of the sound energy would be lost. These bones are fully formed at birth and never grow larger, making them unique among your bones. They're also remarkably durable, protected within the hardest bone in your body, the temporal bone of your skull. The ossicles have remained virtually unchanged throughout mammalian evolution, testimony to their efficient design. These tiny structures, hidden deep within your skull, are essential to your ability to hear the world around you. Your body produces about 1 million blood cells per second. Your bone marrow is a busy factory, constantly producing new blood cells to replace those that are aging and dying. Every single second, your body creates approximately 1 million new red blood cells. This production, called hematopoiesis, takes place primarily in the marrow of your larger bones, such as your pelvis, spine, ribs, and skull. This rapid production is necessary because blood cells have limited lifespans. Red blood cells last about 120 days, platelets survive for about 10 days, and many white blood cells live only hours to days. To maintain adequate numbers, your bone marrow must work continuously, responding to signals from your body that indicate what types of cells are needed. The process begins with hematopoietic stem cells, which can differentiate into any type of blood cell. These stem cells divide and mature through several stages, eventually becoming fully functional red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets. Your body carefully regulates this production. When you lose blood, production increases. If you travel to high altitude where oxygen is scarce, your body produces more red blood cells. This responsive system ensures you always have the blood cells you need. Platelets help your blood clot within seconds. When you cut yourself, blood doesn't flow indefinitely. Within seconds, tiny cell fragments, called platelets, rush to the site of injury and begin forming a plug to stop the bleeding. Platelets, also called thrombocytes, are fragments of larger cells called megakaryocytes. Though they're not complete cells, they're packed with chemicals and proteins necessary for blood clotting. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets immediately stick to the exposed edges of the wound. They change shape, becoming spiky and sticky, and release chemical signals that attract more platelets. Within minutes, enough platelets accumulate to form a temporary plug. Simultaneously, a complex cascade of clotting factors in your blood plasma produces fibrin, a protein that forms a mesh over the platelet plug, creating a stable clot. Your body produces about 100 billion new platelets daily, and they circulate in your blood for about 10 days before being removed. You have approximately 150,000 to 450,000 platelets in every microliter of blood, constantly ready to respond to injuries. Without adequate platelets, even minor injuries could result in serious bleeding. Too many platelets, however, can lead to dangerous clots forming inside blood vessels. Your body carefully maintains the delicate balance necessary for proper clotting. Your body temperature is controlled to within a fraction of a degree. Your body maintains a remarkably stable internal temperature of about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 degrees Celsius. And it works hard to keep this temperature constant within a fraction of a degree. This process, called thermoregulation, is essential because enzymes and biochemical reactions in your body function optimally within a narrow temperature range. Even small deviations can affect how well your cells function. Your hypothalamus, a small region at the base of your brain, acts as your body's thermostat. It constantly monitors your core temperature through sensors in your blood and receives information from temperature receptors throughout your body. If you become too warm, your hypothalamus triggers responses to cool you down. Blood vessels near your skin dilate to release heat, and you begin to sweat. Evaporation of sweat from your skin cools you efficiently. If you become too cold, your hypothalamus initiates warming responses. Blood vessels near your skin constrict to reduce heat loss. You stop sweating, and you may begin to shiver. Shivering generates heat through rapid muscle contractions. Your body also regulates temperature through behavior, prompting you to seek warmth or coolness, add or remove clothing, and adjust your activity level. This sophisticated temperature control system works continuously, automatically maintaining the conditions necessary for life. You generate enough body heat to boil water. Your body is constantly producing heat as a byproduct of metabolism. Every biochemical reaction, every muscle contraction, every nerve impulse generates thermal energy. At rest, your body produces about 100 watts of heat, roughly equivalent to a standard incandescent light bulb. During intense exercise, this can increase to 1,000 watts or more. If you could somehow contain all the heat your body produces over the course of a day, it would be enough to boil approximately half a gallon of ice-cold water. This heat production is essential for maintaining your body temperature, but it also means your body must have effective ways to dissipate excess heat to prevent overheating. Most of your heat production comes from your internal organs, particularly your liver and muscles. Your brain, despite being only about 2% of your body weight, generates about 20% of your body's heat because of its intense metabolic activity. This constant heat production is why you feel warm to the touch, why you can warm your hands by holding them together, and why a group of people in a room can raise the room's temperature noticeably. You are, in essence, a biological furnace, continuously burning fuel to maintain life and generating heat as an inevitable consequence. Sweat glands are most concentrated on your palms and soles. Your body contains between 2 and 4 million sweat glands distributed across your skin. These glands, called eccrine glands, produce the watery sweat that cools you through evaporation. While you have sweat glands almost everywhere on your body, they're most densely concentrated on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet, where you have about 600 to 700 sweat glands per square centimeter. This high concentration of sweat glands on your hands and feet serves purposes beyond temperature regulation. Slightly moist palms and soles improve grip, which would have been advantageous for our ancestors climbing trees or holding tools. This is why your palms often sweat when you're nervous or stressed. Even when you're not overheated, your body's stress response activates these glands as part of an ancient survival mechanism. You also have another type of sweat gland called apocrine glands, found primarily in your armpits and groin. These glands don't open directly onto your skin surface, but instead empty into hair follicles. They produce a thicker secretion that includes proteins and lipids. This secretion is odorless when first produced, but bacteria on your skin break it down, creating body odor. Apocrine glands become active during puberty, which is why body odor typically becomes an issue in adolescence. You can produce up to 3 gallons of sweat in a day. Under normal conditions, you produce about a pint to a quart of sweat per day, often without even noticing because it evaporates as quickly as it's produced. However, during intense exercise or in hot environments, your sweat production can increase dramatically. In extreme conditions, your body can produce up to 3 gallons of sweat in a single day. Sweat is primarily water, but it also contains salts, particularly sodium chloride, table salt, as well as small amounts of other minerals, urea, and other waste products. When you sweat heavily and don't replace the lost fluids and salts, you can become dehydrated and develop an electrolyte imbalance, leading to muscle cramps, fatigue, and potentially dangerous heat-related illnesses. The ability to sweat profusely is actually one of humanity's evolutionary advantages. Compared to most other mammals, humans have excellent sweating capacity, which allows us to cool ourselves efficiently during prolonged physical activity. Our ancestors could hunt prey by literally running animals to exhaustion under the hot African sun. While the prey would overheat and have to stop, humans could continue pursuing them because our superior sweating ability kept us cool. This remarkable cooling system continues to serve you well, automatically activating whenever your body temperature begins to rise. Your largest organ weighs about 8 pounds. Your skin is not just a covering, it's your body's largest organ. In an average adult, skin weighs approximately 8 pounds and covers about 20 square feet. It serves as your first line of defense against the external world, forming a barrier that keeps harmful microorganisms out, prevents excessive water loss, and protects against physical damage and ultraviolet radiation. Skin is composed of 3 main layers. The outermost layer, the epidermis, is constantly renewed from below and provides a waterproof barrier. Beneath it lies the dermis, which contains blood vessels, nerve endings, hair follicles, and sweat glands. The deepest layer, the hypodermis, or subcutaneous tissue, consists mainly of fat and connective tissue that insulate your body and anchor your skin to underlying structures. Your skin also plays crucial roles in vitamin D production, temperature regulation, and sensation. Thousands of nerve endings throughout your skin allow you to sense touch, pressure, temperature, and pain. The nerves in your fingertips are so sensitive that you can feel textures and detect vibrations with remarkable precision. Your skin grows with you, stretches and moves with your body, heals when injured, and serves as the flexible, protective envelope that contains everything you are. Every square inch of skin contains about 20 feet of blood vessels. Your skin might seem like a simple covering, but it's an organ of remarkable complexity. Every square inch of your skin contains approximately 20 feet of blood vessels, along with hundreds of sweat glands, thousands of nerve endings, and millions of cells. This dense network of blood vessels serves multiple purposes. Blood flow to your skin helps regulate body temperature. When you're hot, blood vessels near the surface dilate, allowing more warm blood to flow through where heat can radiate away. This is why you look flushed when overheated. When you're cold, these vessels constrict, reducing blood flow to the surface and conserving heat for your vital internal organs. This is why your skin appears pale in cold conditions, and why your fingers and toes get cold first. Your body is prioritizing warmth for your core. The blood vessels in your skin also deliver oxygen and nutrients necessary for skin health and healing. When you cut yourself, the rich blood supply to the area brings white blood cells to fight infection and carries away waste products. This vascular network ensures that your skin remains healthy, functional, and capable of healing from injuries. The complexity hidden within every square inch of your skin is a testament to the sophisticated engineering of your body. Your body contains about 37 trillion cells. Estimating the total number of cells in your body is challenging, but scientists believe an average adult human body contains approximately 37 trillion cells. That's 37, followed by 12 zeros, a number so large it's difficult to comprehend. These cells come in hundreds of different types, each specialized for specific functions. The vast majority of these cells are red blood cells. Your blood contains about 25 trillion red blood cells at any given time. Other cell types are far less numerous, but equally important. You have billions of neurons forming your nervous system, billions of muscle cells enabling movement, and countless epithelial cells lining your organs and forming your skin. What's remarkable is that despite their different functions and appearances, all your cells contain the same genetic information in their DNA. The difference between a muscle cell and a neuron isn't in their genes, but in which genes are active. Through a process called differentiation, cells activate specific genes and suppress others, leading to specialization. Every cell in your body descended from a single fertilized egg, yet they've diversified into the many cell types that make you a functioning organism. This coordination among trillions of individual cells, all working together, is what creates the miracle of a living, breathing, thinking human being. Red blood cells have no nucleus. Red blood cells are unique among your body's cells because they lack a nucleus, the cellular compartment that contains DNA. When red blood cells are produced in your bone marrow, they start out with a nucleus, like all other cells. However, as they mature, they expel their nucleus before entering your bloodstream. This unusual characteristic serves a specific purpose. Without a nucleus taking up space, red blood cells can pack in more hemoglobin, the oxygen-carrying protein that gives them their red color. Each red blood cell contains about 270 million hemoglobin molecules, allowing it to carry approximately 1 billion oxygen molecules at once. The lack of a nucleus also makes red blood cells more flexible, allowing them to squeeze through narrow capillaries barely wider than themselves. The trade-off is that, without a nucleus, red blood cells cannot repair themselves or produce new proteins. This is why they have a limited lifespan of about 120 days. During that time, each red blood cell makes approximately 250,000 round trips, through your circulatory system, delivering oxygen to your tissues and removing carbon dioxide. When they wear out, they're filtered from your blood by your spleen and liver, and their components are recycled to make new cells. This elegant design maximizes oxygen carrying capacity while accepting a shorter cellular lifespan. Some cells in your body live for decades. While many cells in your body turn over rapidly, some are remarkably long-lived. The neurons in your cerebral cortex, the part of your brain responsible for higher thinking, are with you for most of your life. These neurons form in early development, and most persist without being replaced. Some researchers believe certain cortical neurons may last your entire lifetime, making them potentially the oldest cells in your body. Other long-lived cells include those in the lens of your eye. The proteins in your eye's lens are among the longest-lasting proteins in your body, with some possibly dating back to childhood. This is partly why the lens can become cloudy with age, leading to cataracts. Those proteins have been working for decades without replacement. Your muscle cells are also quite durable, though they don't last quite as long as neurons. Skeletal muscle cells can persist for 15 years or more, though they can incorporate new nuclei throughout life. Even your fat cells are relatively long-lived, with an average lifespan of about 10 years. This means the fat cells you have today will still be with you a decade from now, though their size will change as they store or release fat. The longevity of these cells is remarkable considering the constant chemical activity occurring within them. Other cells replace themselves every few days. In contrast to long-lived neurons and muscle cells, some cells in your body are replaced very rapidly. The cells lining your small intestine, for instance, are among the shortest-lived in your body. They face a harsh environment, exposed to digestive enzymes, stomach acid, and potential toxins in your food. As a result, they live for only about 5 days before being replaced. The cells lining your stomach have a similarly short lifespan, lasting only about 2 to 9 days before being renewed. This rapid turnover is a protective mechanism, ensuring that damaged cells are quickly replaced before problems can develop. Your taste bud cells renew every 10 to 14 days, which is why burning your tongue doesn't cause permanent loss of taste. The cells recover quickly. White blood cells vary in lifespan depending on type. Some white blood cells live for only a few hours or days, while others, particularly memory cells that help fight infections you've encountered before, can live for years or even decades. This variation in cell lifespan reflects the different challenges cells face and the different roles they play. Your body continuously balances the need for cellular stability and continuity with the need to replace damaged or worn-out cells, maintaining a dynamic equilibrium that keeps you healthy. Your cells perform quadrillions of chemical reactions per second. Life, at the cellular level, is extraordinarily busy. Each of your approximately 37 trillion cells is performing countless chemical reactions every second. These reactions, collectively called metabolism, include breaking down nutrients for energy, building new proteins and other molecules, repairing damage, and disposing of waste. When you multiply the reactions happening in a single cell by the trillions of cells in your body, the total number of chemical reactions occurring in your body each second reaches into the quadrillions. That's a number with 15 zeros, representing a level of activity that's almost impossible to imagine. These reactions are carefully coordinated by enzymes, special proteins that speed up specific chemical reactions while preventing unwanted ones. All this chemical activity requires energy, which comes from the food you eat. The calories in food represent chemical energy stored in the bonds between atoms. Your cells break down these molecules, capture the energy, and use it to power the reactions necessary for life. Even at rest, your body requires substantial energy just to maintain this constant cellular activity. This is your basal metabolic rate, the minimum energy needed to keep your cells functioning and your body alive. Mitochondria are the power plants of your cells within. Most of your cells are specialized structures called mitochondria, often described as the powerhouses or power plants of cells. These tiny organelles, usually between 1 and 10 micrometers in length, are where most of your cellular energy is produced. Depending on the cell type and its energy needs, a single cell can contain anywhere from a few dozen to several thousand mitochondria. Mitochondria produce energy through a process called cellular respiration. They take in oxygen and nutrients, particularly a molecule called glucose, and through a complex series of chemical reactions, convert them into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the universal energy currency of cells. ATP molecules store energy in chemical bonds that can be quickly broken when energy is needed. Interestingly, mitochondria have their own DNA, separate from the DNA in your cell's nucleus. This DNA is always inherited from your mother, as the mitochondria in sperm don't typically survive fertilization. Scientists believe mitochondria were once independent bacteria that billions of years ago began living inside larger cells in a mutually beneficial arrangement. Over time, this symbiotic relationship became permanent. Today, you literally couldn't live without these ancient bacterial descendants, working tirelessly inside your cells, producing the energy that powers every thought, every heartbeat, every breath. Your DNA contains about 3 billion base pairs. Inside the nucleus of nearly every cell in your body is your complete genetic blueprint, DNA. Your DNA consists of about 3 billion base pairs, the individual letters of your genetic code. These base pairs are made of 4 chemical building blocks called nucleotides: adenine, A, thymine, T, guanine, G, and cytosine, C. The sequence of these letters, like words in an instruction manual, determines how your body develops and functions. If you could unwind and stretch, come out all the DNA from a single cell, it would be about 6 feet long. That's an incredible amount of information, packed into a nucleus so small it's invisible to the naked eye. Your DNA is tightly coiled and organized into 46 chromosomes, 23 inherited from your mother and 23 from your father. These chromosomes contain approximately 20,000 to 25,000 genes, sections of DNA that provide instructions for making specific proteins. If you could combine all the DNA from all your cells, it would stretch approximately 10 billion miles, enough to reach from Earth to Pluto and back. Despite containing identical genetic information, different cells use different portions of this vast instruction manual, which is how a single fertilized egg can give rise to all the different cell types in your body. Your DNA is the fundamental code that makes you uniquely you, determining everything from your eye color to your susceptibility to certain diseases. Your genetic code is 99.9% identical to every other human, despite the incredible diversity of human appearance, personality, and ability. Your DNA is remarkably similar to every other human's DNA. Approximately 99.9% of your genetic code is identical to that of any other person on Earth. The roughly 0.1% that differs about 3 million base pairs out of 3 billion is what makes you genetically unique. These small differences account for all human variation: height, eye color, hair texture, facial features, and countless other characteristics. They also influence your predisposition to certain diseases, how you metabolize medications, and even subtle aspects of personality and behavior. Despite being a tiny fraction of your total DNA, these differences are enough to make you distinct from every other human who has ever lived, with the exception of identical twins Interestingly, humans also share a significant amount of DNA with other species. You share about 98% of your DNA with chimpanzees, about 90% with cats, about 60% with fruit, flies, and even about 50% with bananas. This genetic similarity reflects our shared evolutionary history and the fact that many fundamental biological processes are common to all life. The genes controlling basic cellular functions have been conserved across millions of years of evolution. Identical twins share 100% of their DNA. Identical twins, also called monozygotic twins, develop when a single fertilized egg splits into two embryos. Because they originate from the same egg and sperm, identical twins share 100% of their DNA. This makes them natural genetic clones, and it's why identical twins look so remarkably similar and are always the same sex. Despite having identical genes, identical twins are not truly identical. As they develop and age, environmental factors cause subtle differences. They may have different fingerprints due to random factors affecting development in the womb. They may develop different personalities based on their unique experiences. Over time, identical twins' DNA can even begin to differ slightly due to mutations that occur during cell division and environmental factors that cause chemical modifications to DNA. Scientists study identical twins to understand the relative contributions of genetics and environment to human traits and diseases. When identical twins raised in different environments develop differently, it demonstrates the importance of environmental factors. When they remain similar despite different environments, it suggests strong genetic influence. These natural experiments have provided valuable insights into the complex interplay between genes and environment in shaping who we are. You share about 50% of your DNA with each parent. You inherited half of your DNA from your mother and half from your father. But the way this inheritance works is more complex than it might seem. Your mother's egg and your father's sperm each contained 23 chromosomes, half the normal number of 46. When egg and sperm combined at fertilization, they created a cell with the full complement of 46 chromosomes, 23 matching pairs. For each pair, one chromosome came from your mother and one from your father. However, the chromosomes your parents passed to you weren't exact copies of the ones they inherited from their parents. Before creating eggs and sperm, cells undergo a process called recombination, where matching chromosomes swap segments of DNA. This shuffling creates unique combinations of genes, which is why you're not exactly 50% like your maternal grandmother and 50% like your maternal grandfather. This genetic mixing is why siblings can be so different despite having the same parents. Except for identical twins, each child receives a unique combination of parental DNA. You could, by chance, share more DNA with one sibling than another, though on average, siblings share about 50% of their variable DNA. This genetic lottery is part of what makes each person unique, even within families. Your body produces about 25 million new cells. Every second cellular reproduction happens constantly throughout your body. At every moment, millions of cells are dividing to produce new cells that will replace old, damaged, or dying ones. On average, your body produces approximately 25 million new cells every second. That's about 2 trillion new cells per day. This process, called mitosis, involves a cell duplicating all its DNA and then dividing into 2 identical daughter cells. It's a complex, carefully regulated process with multiple checkpoints to ensure accuracy. Errors in cell division can lead to cells with damaged DNA, which is why your body has mechanisms to detect problems and either repair them or trigger cell death to prevent damaged cells from multiplying. Different types of cells divide at different rates. Skin cells, intestinal lining cells, and blood cells divide frequently to maintain these rapidly renewing tissues. Muscle cells and neurons divide rarely, if at all, after reaching maturity. This variation in cell division rates reflects the different demands and challenges faced by different tissues. The constant cellular renewal throughout your body ensures that damaged, worn-out cells are continuously replaced, maintaining the integrity of your tissues and organs. Some cells never divide after you're born. While many cells in your body divide throughout your life, some cells stop dividing soon after birth and never divide again. Most notably, the neurons in your brain and the muscle cells in your heart are largely formed before or shortly after birth and must last your entire lifetime. This permanence is one reason why damage to these tissues is so serious. When heart muscle is damaged during a heart attack, those cells cannot be replaced by division of remaining cells. Instead, scar tissue forms, which doesn't contract like healthy heart muscle. Similarly, neurons that die from injury or disease cannot be replaced by division of surviving neurons, though the brain has some ability to reorganize and compensate for lost neurons. However, this traditional view is being refined by new research. Scientists have discovered that even in adults, a small number of new neurons can form in specific brain regions through a process called neurogenesis. The heart also has a limited capacity for cellular regeneration, though it's minimal compared to tissues like skin or liver. Despite these discoveries, the general principle remains. The neurons and heart muscle cells you have now are largely the ones you'll have for life, making their protection and health critically important. Your body's cells work together, like a well-coordinated society. Your 37 trillion cells don't function independently. They work together in a remarkably coordinated fashion. Cells communicate with each other through chemical signals, coordinate their activities, and organize themselves into tissues and organs with specialized functions. This cooperation is what transforms a biosense, collection of individual cells, into a functioning organism. Cells communicate through various mechanisms. They release signaling molecules that travel through your bloodstream or diffuse through surrounding tissue to reach target cells. Nerve cells send rapid electrical signals that can coordinate activity across your entire body in milliseconds. Immune cells patrol your body, communicating threats and coordinating responses to infections. This cellular cooperation requires constant communication and regulation. Cells must know when to divide and when to stop dividing, when to perform their specialized functions, and when to rest, when to live, and when to die for the greater good of the organism. Disruptions to this coordination can lead to disease. Cancer, for instance, occurs when cells stop following the rules, dividing uncontrollably and ignoring signals that should stop them. The extraordinary cooperation among your trillions of cells is what makes complex life possible. Every cell in your body knows what time it is. Your body has an internal clock that keeps time even without external cues. This biological clock operates at multiple levels, but remarkably, nearly every cell in your body contains its own molecular clock. These cellular clocks are based on genes that turn on and off in roughly 24-hour cycles, creating circadian rhythms that influence cellular function. Your master clock resides in a tiny region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which sits just above where your optic nerves cross. This master clock receives information about light and darkness from your eyes and uses this information to synchronize all the cellular clocks throughout your body. When these clocks are synchronized, your body functions optimally, with different processes reaching peak activity at appropriate times of day. Your circadian rhythms influence far more than just sleep and wakefulness. Body temperature, hormone secretion, blood pressure, immune function, and even the effectiveness of medications All vary according to circadian cycles. Disruption of these rhythms, such as from shift work or jet lag, can affect health. Your cellular clocks ensure that biological processes occur at the right times, coordinating activities across your entire body to match the 24-hour cycle of Earth's rotation. Your stomach's digestive acid could damage metal. The hydrochloric acid in your stomach is remarkably strong, with a pH typically between 1.5 and 3.5. To put this in perspective, battery acid has a pH around 1, while pure water has a pH of 7. This means your stomach acid is only slightly less acidic than battery acid and is strong enough to dissolve metal, given enough time. This powerful acid serves several purposes. It helps break down food, particularly proteins, by denaturing protein structures and activating digestive enzymes. It also kills most bacteria and other microorganisms that enter with your food, providing an important line of defense against foodborne pathogens. The low pH creates an environment where the protein-digesting enzyme pepsin can work effectively. Given this acidity, you might wonder why your stomach doesn't digest itself. The answer lies in that thick layer of mucus coating your stomach lining, which we discussed earlier. This mucus barrier, combined with tight junctions between stomach lining cells and rapid cell renewal, protects your stomach tissue from the acid it produces. However, when this protective barrier is compromised by factors like infection with H. pylori bacteria, excessive use of certain medications, or stress, ulcers can form. The power of your stomach acid is a double-edged sword, essential for digestion but potentially dangerous if not properly contained. Food can stay in your stomach for up to 5 hours. When you eat a meal, food doesn't immediately pass through your stomach. Instead, it can remain there for anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, depending on what you've eaten. Your stomach serves as a storage reservoir, releasing food gradually into your small intestine at a rate that allows for optimal digestion and absorption. The time food spends in your stomach depends largely on its composition. Liquids pass through relatively quickly, often in less than an hour. Carbohydrates are processed faster than proteins. Fats take the longest, which is why fatty meals make you feel full longer. Your stomach muscles churn the food, mixing it with gastric acid and enzymes, gradually turning it into a semi-liquid mixture called chyme. The valve at the bottom of your stomach, called the pyloric sphincter, opens periodically to release small amounts of chyme into your small intestine. This controlled release ensures your small intestine isn't overwhelmed and has time to properly digest and absorb nutrients. Factors like stress, certain medications, and some medical conditions can affect how quickly or slowly your stomach empties. The sensation of fullness you feel after eating is partly due to food physically stretching your stomach, signaling your brain that you've eaten enough. Your small intestine has a surface area the size of a tennis court. Your small intestine might be only about 20 feet long and an inch or two in diameter, but its internal surface area is enormous, approximately 250 to 300 square feet, roughly the size of a tennis court. This vast surface area is crucial for nutrient absorption, as nearly all the nutrients from your food are absorbed through the walls of your small intestine. This remarkable surface area is achieved through multiple levels of folding. The intestinal walls form large circular folds. These folds are covered with tiny, finger-like projections called villi. Each villus is covered with even tinier projections called microvilli, forming what's called a brush border. This elaborate folding creates an enormous surface area within a compact space. Within each villus are blood vessels and lymphatic vessels that absorb the nutrients passing through the intestinal lining. The cells lining your small intestine are specialized for absorption, with numerous transport proteins that actively move specific nutrients from the intestinal cavity into your bloodstream. This extensive surface area and specialized cellular machinery ensure that your body can extract the maximum nutrition from your food. As food passes through your small intestine over several hours, virtually all usable nutrients are absorbed, leaving only water, fiber, and waste products to pass into your large intestine. Your appendix might serve as a safe house for good bacteria. For many years, the appendix was considered a vestigial organ, an evolutionary leftover, with no function in humans. Recent research, however, suggests it may serve a purpose after all. Scientists now believe your appendix acts as a safe house for beneficial bacteria. Your intestines are home to trillions of bacteria that help digest food, produce vitamins, and support your immune system. This community of microorganisms, called your gut microbiome, can be disrupted by illness, antibiotics, or digestive problems. When this happens, beneficial bacteria can be wiped out, sometimes allowing harmful bacteria to take over. Your appendix, a small pouch attached to your large intestine, provides a protected environment where beneficial bacteria can survive even when the rest of your digestive system is cleared out. After the problem resolves, these bacterial refugees can repopulate your intestines. This theory helps explain why the appendix has persisted through evolution and is found in many mammal species. While you can certainly live without your appendix, many people have theirs removed due to appendicitis. It may play a subtle but useful role in maintaining your gut health. You host more bacterial cells than human cells. You might think of yourself as a single organism, but you're actually more like a complex ecosystem. Your body is home to approximately 38 trillion bacterial cells, slightly outnumbering your approximately 37 trillion human cells. Most of these bacterial residents live in your digestive tract, particularly your large intestine, though bacteria also inhabit your skin, mouth, and other body surfaces. These microorganisms, collectively called your microbiome, are not parasites or invaders. Most are beneficial partners. The bacteria in your gut help digest food, particularly complex carbohydrates and fibers that your own enzymes cannot break down. They produce vitamins, including vitamin K and several B vitamins. They help train and regulate your immune system. They even produce neurotransmitters that can influence your mood and behavior. The composition of your microbiome is unique to you, influenced by factors including your genetics, diet, environment, and medical history. The importance of these bacterial partners is increasingly recognized, with research linking microbiome disruption to conditions ranging from obesity and diabetes to mood disorders and autoimmune diseases. You are not merely a human being, but a symbiotic community of human and microbial cells working together. Your gut bacteria can influence your mood. The connection between your gut and your brain is more intimate than you might imagine. Your digestive system and brain communicate constantly through what scientists call the gut-brain axis, a bidirectional communication network involving nerves, hormones, and immune signals. Remarkably, the bacteria in your gut play a significant role in this communication. Gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters, including serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the same chemicals your brain uses to regulate mood, anxiety, and sleep. In fact, about 90% of your body's serotonin, often called the happiness hormone, is produced in your gut. While most of this serotonin doesn't cross into your brain directly, it influences the gut-brain axis and affects signals sent from gut to brain. Research has shown that changes in gut bacteria composition can affect behavior, anxiety levels, and even cognitive function in both animals and humans. Some studies have found differences in the gut microbiomes of people with depression or anxiety compared to healthy individuals. While we're still understanding these complex relationships, it's clear that the bacteria in your gut are more than passive residents. They're active participants in your mental and emotional well-being. The phrase gut feeling may be more literally accurate than we realized. Your immune system creates a new defense every day. Your adaptive immune system has a remarkable ability. It can create defenses against threats it has never encountered before. Your body produces millions of different antibodies, each capable of recognizing a specific molecular structure. This diversity is so vast that your immune system can respond to virtually any foreign substance it meets. This incredible diversity is generated through a process called VDJ recombination, which randomly shuffles genetic segments to create unique antibody genes. Each developing B cell, a type of white blood cell, creates its own unique antibody through this shuffling process. Your body produces millions of B cells daily, each with a different antibody. Most of these B cells never encounter a matching threat and eventually die. But when one B cell's antibody happens to match a pathogen, that B cell multiplies rapidly, creating an army of identical cells, all producing the same antibody. This is how your immune system learns to fight specific infections. The diversity of antibodies your body creates daily ensures you're prepared for threats you've never faced before. A remarkable example of biological preparedness through controlled randomness. Memories are stored through physical changes in your brain. When you form a memory, your brain isn't simply recording information like a computer saving a file. Instead, learning and memory involve physical and chemical changes in your brain's neurons. The connections between neurons, called synapses, strengthen or weaken based on your experiences, and new synapses can form, while unused ones disappear. This process, called synaptic plasticity, is the physical basis of learning and memory. When you learn something new, certain patterns of neurons activate together. As the saying goes in neuroscience, neurons that fire together, wire together. Repeated activation strengthens the connections between these neurons, making it easier for them to activate together in the future. This is why practice and repetition help you learn. Memories aren't stored in single locations, but are distributed across networks of neurons throughout your brain. Different aspects of a single memory. The visual components, emotions, sounds, and context are stored in different brain regions. When you recall a memory, your brain reconstructs it by reactivating these distributed networks. This is why memories can change over time. Each time you recall a memory, you slightly reconstruct and potentially modify it. Your memories are not static recordings but dynamic reconstructions based on the physical structure of connections in your brain. You have enough DNA to stretch to the sun and back 300 times. The amount of DNA in your body is staggering. If you could unwind all the DNA from all the cells in your body and lay it end to end, it would stretch approximately 10 billion miles. That's enough to reach from Earth to the Sun and back more than 300 times, or to reach from Earth to Pluto and back. This enormous length exists because DNA molecules are extremely long and tightly coiled. In each cell, about 6 feet of DNA is packed into a nucleus that's only about 0.0002 inches across. This is accomplished through multiple levels of coiling and folding. DNA wraps around proteins called histones, like thread around spools. These structures coil further, forming increasingly compact structures until they form the familiar X-shaped chromosomes you can see under a microscope during cell division. This tight packing is necessary but creates challenges. Your cells must be able to access specific genes when needed, so the packing must be organized and reversible. Complex molecular machinery, constantly works to unpack DNA sections for reading and transcription, then repack them afterward. The sheer length of DNA in your body represents the vast amount of genetic information necessary to build and maintain a human being. Your body produces about 10,000 cancer cells daily. This fact might sound alarming, but it's actually a testament to your body's remarkable protective systems. Every day, due to normal errors during cell division and damage from factors like radiation and chemicals, thousands of your cells develop mutations that could potentially lead to cancer. Your body produces an estimated 10,000 or more cells daily that have cancer-causing mutations. However, you don't develop cancer from most of these cells because your body has multiple layers of defense. First, cells have internal quality control systems that detect DNA damage and either repair it or trigger the cell to self-destruct through a process called apoptosis. Second, your immune system constantly patrols your body, identifying and destroying abnormal cells before they can multiply. Cancer typically develops only when multiple protective systems fail and mutated cells escape detection and destruction. This usually requires several specific mutations accumulating in the same cell, which is why cancer becomes more common with age. There's simply been more time for mutations to accumulate. The fact that cancer is relatively rare, considering the thousands of potentially cancerous cells generated daily, demonstrates how effective your body's protective mechanisms normally are. Your body fights cancer every single day, usually winning battles you never know occurred. You breathe out about 200 million viruses every day. When you breathe, you don't just exhale carbon dioxide. Research has found that you also breathe out enormous numbers of viruses, approximately 200 million per day. Before you panic, understand that most of these are not causing illness. Many are bacteriophages, viruses that infect bacteria, not human cells. Others are viruses from your own microbiome that exist in your body without causing disease. This viral cloud that surrounds each person is part of what scientists call the virome, the collection of all the viruses in and on your body. Like your bacterial microbiome, most of these viruses are harmless or even beneficial. Some bacteriophages, for instance, help control bacterial populations, preventing any single bacterial species from dominating. This constant viral shedding is one way diseases spread between people, but it's also a normal part of human biology. The viruses you exhale mix with those from everyone around you, creating an invisible ecosystem of viral particles floating in the air. Most exposure to these viruses results in no infection, because your immune system handles them efficiently. This viral exchange is simply another aspect of humans, as biological creatures constantly interacting with a microscopic world. Your heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet. With each contraction, your heart generates significant pressure to push blood through your entire circulatory system. The pressure created by a healthy heart's contraction, if directed through a narrow opening, would be sufficient to squirt blood up to 30 feet through the air. This demonstrates the remarkable force your heart generates, working continuously to maintain circulation. Blood pressure is typically measured as two numbers. The higher number, systolic pressure, represents the pressure in your arteries when your heart contracts. The lower number, diastolic pressure, represents the pressure when your heart relaxes between beats. A normal blood pressure might be around 120/80 mmHg, millimeters of mercury, meaning the pressure at peak contraction is enough to push a column of mercury up 120 millimeters. This pressure is essential for driving blood through thousands of miles of blood vessels, including tiny capillaries where resistance is high. The pressure must be strong enough to push blood up to your brain when you're standing, yet controlled enough not to damage delicate blood vessels. Your body constantly adjusts blood pressure based on your needs. increasing it during exercise and decreasing it during rest. This dynamic pressure regulation, occurring with every heartbeat, ensures all your tissues receive adequate blood flow, regardless of your position or activity level. Your blood vessels could circle Earth more than twice. The circulatory system is an engineering marvel of truly impressive scale. If you could remove all the blood vessels from your body and lay them end to end, they would stretch approximately 60,000 miles. That's more than twice the circumference of Earth at the equator, which is about 25,000 miles. This enormous network includes arteries that carry oxygen-rich blood away from your heart, veins that return oxygen-depleted blood back to your heart, and capillaries, the tiniest vessels where exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste occurs. Capillaries are so narrow that red blood cells must travel through them in single file. Yet there are so many capillaries that they account for the vast majority of your total blood vessel length. This extensive network ensures that no cell in your body is far from a blood supply. Most cells are within just a few cell widths of a capillary, allowing for efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients and removal of waste products. The total surface area of all your capillaries is enormous, providing ample space for the exchange that keeps your cells alive. Your circulatory system is a vast internal highway system, with roots reaching every corner of your body. Your body contains about 250 different cell types. Despite all starting from a single fertilized egg with identical DNA, the cells in your adult body have diversified into approximately 250 distinct cell types. Each type has a unique structure, function, and set of active genes, specialized for specific roles in your body. Some cell types are highly specialized. Neurons conduct electrical signals across long distances. Muscle cells contain special proteins that allow them to contract. Red blood cells are filled with hemoglobin and lack a nucleus to maximize oxygen-carrying capacity. Photoreceptor cells in your eyes contain proteins that change shape when struck by light, initiating vision. Immune cells have receptors that recognize foreign substances. This diversity arises through cellular differentiation, the process by which cells become specialized. As cells divide during development, they receive signals from their environment that activate some genes and silence others. These active genes direct the production of proteins that determine cell structure and function. Once differentiated, most cells remain specialized throughout their lives, though stem cells retain the ability to differentiate into multiple cell types. The diversity of cell types in your body reflects the complexity of functions necessary to maintain a living, thinking, moving human being. Your bone marrow produces more than 2 million red blood cells per second. Your bone marrow is one of the hardest working tissues in your body. Every single second, it produces more than 2 million new red blood cells to replace those that are aging and dying. This production rate increases when needed, such as at high altitude where oxygen is scarce, or after blood loss. This remarkable productivity is possible because of hematopoietic stem cells in your bone marrow. These stem cells can divide indefinitely and differentiate into any type of blood cell. Through a process called erythropoiesis, stem cells gradually transform into mature red blood cells over about 7 days, passing through several intermediate stages. The production rate is regulated by a hormone called erythropoietin, produced primarily by your kidneys. When oxygen levels in your blood drop, your kidneys release more erythropoietin, signaling your bone marrow to increase red blood cell production. This feedback system ensures you maintain appropriate numbers of red blood cells for your needs. The continuous production is necessary because red blood cells wear out after about 120 days of circulation. Your bone marrow's tireless activity maintains the constant supply of fresh cells necessary to keep oxygen flowing to your tissues. Babies are born with about 300 bones. Human babies are born with approximately 300 bones, many more than the 206 bones in an adult skeleton. This might seem paradoxical until you understand how bones develop. Many of the bones in newborns are actually cartilage, the same flexible material that forms your ears and nose, that will gradually harden into bone through a process called ossification. Additionally, many bones that are separate in babies later fuse together. The skull, for instance, consists of several separate bones at birth, with gaps called fontanelles between them. These gaps allow the skull to compress during birth and provide room for the brain to grow rapidly during infancy. The fontanelles gradually close, and skull bones fuse together, typically completing this process by age 2. Other bones fuse later. The 3 bones that form your pelvis are separate at birth, but fuse during adolescence. The 5 vertebrae that form your sacrum fuse in early adulthood. This fusion process continues until around age 25, when the clavicle, collarbone, typically completes its development as the last bone to finish growing. The reduction from 300 bones to 206 reflects the transformation from a flexible infant skeleton that can pass through the birth canal and accommodate rapid growth into a sturdy adult skeleton designed for a lifetime of support and protection. Your bones are constantly storing and releasing calcium. Your bones are not just a structural framework. They also serve as your body's primary calcium storage depot. About 99% of your body's calcium is stored in your bones, with the remaining 1% circulating in your blood and present in soft tissues. This circulating calcium is critically important for muscle contraction, nerve signaling, blood clotting, and many other functions. Your body carefully maintains blood calcium levels within a narrow range. When blood calcium drops, hormones signal bone cells to release calcium from bone tissue into your bloodstream. When blood calcium is adequate or high, other hormones promote calcium deposition in bones, strengthening them. This constant exchange means your bones are dynamic structures, continuously releasing and reabsorbing calcium. This system usually works well, but it means that if you don't consume enough calcium in your diet, your body will take it from your bones to maintain critical blood calcium levels. Over time, this can weaken bones, potentially leading to osteoporosis. Regular weight-bearing exercise, adequate calcium and vitamin D intake, and certain hormones help maintain bone strength by promoting calcium deposition. Your bones are not static supports, but active participants in maintaining your body's mineral balance. You produce up to 2 liters of mucus. Everyday mucus might seem unpleasant, but it's essential for your health. Your body produces between 1 and 2 liters of mucus every single day. This mucus lines your respiratory tract, digestive system, and other passages, serving several important functions. In your airways, mucus traps dust, bacteria, viruses, and other particles you inhale, preventing them from reaching your lungs. Tiny hair-like structures called cilia constantly wave back and forth, moving mucus and trapped particles up and out of your airways, where you either swallow or expel them. In your digestive tract, mucus lubricates food and protects the lining from digestive enzymes and acid. Most of the mucus you produce is swallowed without you noticing. You only become aware of it when you have a cold or allergies and mucus production increases, or when the mucus becomes thicker and more difficult to clear. The consistency of mucus is carefully regulated. It must be thin enough to move freely, but thick enough to trap particles effectively. Water, proteins, antibodies, and salts all contribute to mucus's protective properties. Despite its reputation as a nuisance, Mucus is a crucial part of your body's defense system, working constantly to protect you from inhaled threats. Your sense of balance involves tiny crystals in your ears. Your ability to balance and know your body's position in space depends on a remarkable system in your inner ears. Within the vestibular system of each ear are structures containing tiny calcium carbonate crystals called otoliths, or ear stones. These crystals, embedded in a gel-like material, sit atop hair cells similar to those involved in hearing. When you move your head, gravity and inertia cause these crystals to shift, bending the hair cells beneath them. The hair cells generate electrical signals that inform your brain about your head's position and movement. Different structures in your vestibular system respond to different types of movement. Some detect linear acceleration, others detect rotation. Your brain combines information from both ears, along with input from your eyes and position sensors in your muscles and joints, to maintain your balance and coordinate your movements. This integration is so seamless that you're usually unaware of it. However, when the system malfunctions, such as when crystals become dislodged and drift into the wrong areas, you can experience severe vertigo. The vestibular system is another example of how your body uses elegant, specialized structures to solve complex sensory challenges. You have different types of memory systems. Memory is not a single system, but rather multiple distinct systems that serve different purposes. Your brain uses at least 3 major types of long-term memory, each stored and processed somewhat differently. Episodic memory stores personal experiences and specific events. Your memories of what happened at your last birthday party or what you ate for breakfast this morning. These memories include not just facts, but also emotions, sensory details, and context. They can be recalled consciously and often include a sense of mentally traveling back to the original experience. Semantic memory stores facts and general knowledge about the world, knowing that Paris is the capital of France, or that dogs are mammals. These memories are also consciously accessible, but lack the personal context of episodic memories. You know the facts, but don't necessarily remember when or how you learned them. Procedural memory stores skills and habits: how to ride a bicycle, type on a keyboard, or play a musical instrument. These memories are often difficult to describe in words and may operate outside conscious awareness. Once learned, they're executed automatically, without conscious thought about the individual steps. Your brain processes and stores these different types of memories in different regions, which is why someone with amnesia might forget all their personal experiences but still remember how to play the piano. Sleep allows your brain to flush out. Waste sleep isn't just rest. It's an active process essential for brain health. During sleep, your brain's cleaning system, called the glymphatic system, becomes much more active. This system clears metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours, when your brain cells are active and generating waste. Research has shown that during sleep, the space between brain cells increases by about 60%, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to flow more freely through brain tissue. This fluid flow washes away waste products, including beta-amyloid proteins that accumulate in Alzheimer's disease. This cleaning process is much less efficient when you're awake and the space between cells is smaller. This discovery helps explain why sleep is so essential for brain health and why chronic sleep deprivation is associated with increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Your brain literally needs sleep to take out the garbage. This is one reason why getting adequate sleep improves cognitive function, consolidates memories, and helps you feel mentally refreshed. While you rest, your brain is actively maintaining itself, clearing away the day's cellular debris and preparing for another day of thought, emotion, and experience. Your body temperature drops, During sleep, your body temperature isn't constant throughout the day. It follows a circadian rhythm, typically peaking in late afternoon or early evening and reaching its lowest point in the early morning hours, usually between 2 and 4 a.m. Your core body temperature can drop by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit during sleep. This temperature drop is actually part of what helps you fall asleep. As your body prepares for sleep, it redirects blood flow to your extremities, causing your hands and feet to warm up while your core temperature drops. This heat redistribution signals your brain that it's time for sleep. This is why taking a warm bath before bed can help you sleep. The subsequent cooling, as you dry off and get into bed, mimics your body's natural pre-sleep temperature pattern. Maintaining a cool bedroom temperature, typically around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, supports your body's natural temperature drop and promotes better sleep. If you're too warm, your body has difficulty achieving the temperature decrease necessary for deep sleep. The coordination between your internal clock, body temperature, and sleep demonstrates how integrated your body's systems are, all working together to maintain the daily rhythms necessary for health. Dreams occur during REM sleep. When your body is paralyzed, dreams, particularly the vivid narrative dreams you might remember upon waking, occur primarily during REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. During this sleep stage, your brain is highly active, showing electrical patterns similar to wakefulness, yet you're deeply asleep. What's remarkable is that during REM sleep, your body experiences temporary paralysis of most voluntary muscles, a state called REM atonia. Only your diaphragm, for breathing, and eye muscles remain active, hence the rapid eye movements that give this sleep stage its name. This paralysis is thought to be a protective mechanism, preventing you from physically acting out your dreams and potentially injuring yourself. Occasionally, this system doesn't work perfectly. In sleep paralysis, you briefly wake up before the paralysis ends, leaving you temporarily unable to move, a frightening but harmless experience. Conversely, in REM behavior disorder, the paralysis doesn't occur properly, and people do act out their dreams, sometimes causing injury. REM sleep typically occurs in cycles throughout the night, with longer periods toward morning. You spend about 25% of your sleep time in REM, with the rest in other sleep stages that serve different restorative functions. The carefully orchestrated transition between these stages reflects the complexity of sleep's role in maintaining physical and mental health. Your body repairs and grows during deep sleep, while REM sleep is associated with dreaming and memory consolidation. Deep sleep, also called slow-wave sleep, is when your body does much of its physical repair and restoration. During deep sleep, your body increases production of growth hormone, which stimulates tissue growth and muscle repair. This is when your body recovers from the day's physical stresses. During deep sleep, your immune system also strengthens. Your body produces more cytokines, proteins that help fight infection and inflammation. This is one reason why you need more sleep. When you're sick, your body requires that deep sleep to mount an effective immune response. Studies have shown that people who don't get enough sleep are more susceptible to infections. Deep sleep is most prevalent in the first third of the night. As the night progresses, you spend less time in deep sleep and more in REM sleep. This is why the timing of sleep matters, not just the duration. If you go to bed very late but sleep the same number of hours, you may get less deep sleep and experience less physical restoration. The architecture of sleep, with its carefully timed progression through different stages, reflects millions of years of evolution optimizing rest and recovery. You spend about a third of your life asleep. If you live to be 75 years old and sleep an average of 8 hours per night, you'll spend approximately 25 years asleep. That's roughly a third of your entire life spent in what might seem like an inactive state. Yet this time is far from wasted. Sleep is essential for survival. While the exact functions of sleep are still being researched, we know it's necessary for memory consolidation, learning, emotional regulation, immune function, cellular repair, and brain waste removal, among other processes. Sleep deprivation has serious consequences, affecting cognitive function, mood, immune function, metabolism, and cardiovascular health. Severe, prolonged sleep deprivation can even be fatal. Different species require different amounts of sleep. Some animals sleep much more than humans. Brown bats sleep about 20 hours per day, while others sleep much less. Giraffes, for instance, sleep only about 2 hours daily. Humans fall somewhere in the middle, but the amount of sleep we need changes throughout life. Newborns sleep 16 to 18 hours daily, while adults typically need 7 to 9 hours. Rather than viewing sleep as time lost, it's more accurate to see it as time invested in maintaining the complex systems that make you who you are. Your heart never rests from birth until death. From before you were born until the moment of your death, your heart beats continuously without rest. It begins beating around day 22 of embryonic development, just 3 weeks after conception, and doesn't stop until your life ends. Over an average lifetime, your heart will beat more than 2.5 billion times. Unlike skeletal muscles that can tire and need rest, cardiac muscle is specially designed for continuous contraction. The cells are highly resistant to fatigue, packed with mitochondria to provide constant energy, and connected in ways that allow coordinated contractions. Between beats, during the brief relaxation phase, your heart muscle receives its own blood supply through the coronary arteries, getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs to continue. The electrical system that coordinates your heartbeat is equally remarkable. Specialized cells in your heart generate electrical impulses automatically, spreading through your cardiac muscle to coordinate the rhythmic contractions. This system works independently of your nervous system, though it can be modified by nerve signals and hormones based on your body's needs. Your heart's tireless rhythm, beating over 100,000 times daily, sustaining your life moment by moment, is perhaps the most fundamental testament to your body's remarkable endurance. And so, dear listener, your journey within comes to a close. From the billions of neurons firing in your brain to the trillions of cells working in harmony throughout your body. From the steady rhythm of your heartbeat to the quiet regeneration of your skin. From the bacteria sharing your body to the DNA encoding your uniqueness. We have wandered together through the landscape of the human body, discovering the remarkable systems that sustain you every moment of every day. Your body is both ordinary and miraculous. It performs countless functions automatically, requiring no conscious thought, yet enabling everything you experience, think, and feel. It repairs itself, defends itself, adapts and changes, all while maintaining the delicate balance necessary for life. Within you right now, billions of cells are working, chemical reactions are occurring, and systems are coordinating in an endless symphony of biological activity. As you lie here, letting your breath fall into an easy rhythm, feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath. Notice your heartbeat, that faithful companion that began before you were born and will accompany you throughout your life. Feel the weight of your body, supported by bones that are stronger than steel yet constantly renewing themselves. Sense the warmth of your skin, protecting you while connecting you to the world around you. Your body has carried you through every moment of your life. It has grown with you, healed your injuries, fought off countless infections you never knew about, and adapted to every challenge. It asks only that you care for it, nourish it, rest it, move it, and appreciate the extraordinary complexity and resilience it demonstrates every day. Now let that appreciation settle into calm. Let the knowledge of your body's constant work allow you to trust in its processes. Your heart knows how to beat. Your lungs know how to breathe. Your cells know how to repair and renew. You need do nothing but rest and allow your body to continue its quiet, faithful work. Picture yourself settling deeper into comfort. Feel any remaining tension dissolving, your muscles relaxing, your breathing slowing, your thoughts becoming quieter. The busy activity within your body continues automatically, requiring nothing from your conscious mind. You are free to drift, to rest, to let sleep embrace you. The remarkable machine of pain. Your body will continue its work while you sleep, clearing waste from your brain, repairing tissues, consolidating memories, and preparing you for tomorrow. Trust in these processes. Trust in your body's wisdom. Trust in the billions of years of evolution that have created the intricate systems sustaining you. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and watch the next video when you are ready. But if your eyes are growing heavy, let the wonder of your own body hold you and carry you softly into rest. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and drift into sleep, into stillness, into the gentle care of your own extraordinary biology. Good night.